Karen took a wheelchair cushion, didn't know it was custom medical equipment. Have you ever wondered what happens when entitlement blinds someone to the harm they cause? In a quiet hospital parking lot, Karen Miller, a woman known for her sharp tongue and sharper ego, was about to ignite a firestorm. It was a chilly evening, the kind where the air bites at your fingertips, and the lot was buzzing with the comings and goings of weary visitors and staff. Karen, in her pristine white SUV, had just pulled into a handicapped spot without a permit. She wasn't there to visit a patient or help anyone. No, Karen was there for one reason: to claim what she thought was hers. It started innocently enough, or so it seemed. Karen had parked next to a van unloading medical supplies for the hospital's rehabilitation wing. Among the items was a vibrant blue wheelchair cushion custom-made for a patient named Ethan, a young man recovering from a spinal injury. The cushion wasn't just foam and fabric, it was a meticulously designed piece of equipment, tailored to prevent excruciating pressure sores and support Ethan's fragile mobility. To Karen, though, it was just a fancy seat left unattended. She didn't hesitate. With a quick glance around, she snatched the cushion, muttering to herself, they shouldn't leave nice things lying around if they don't want them taken. Into her trunk it went, along with her smug satisfaction. But Karen's actions weren't as invisible as she thought. Across the lot, Nurse Clara, a veteran caregiver with a heart as big as her workload, had just stepped out for a rare break. She saw the whole thing: the entitled stride, the casual theft, the complete disregard for the chaos Karen left behind. Clara's blood boiled, but she wasn't one to scream or make a scene. Instead, she pulled out her phone, snapped a photo of Karen's license plate, and noted the time. She knew that cushion wasn't just a seat. She'd spent weeks coordinating with Ethan's care team to get it just right. This wasn't just theft, it was sabotage to a patient's recovery. The next morning, the hospital was in an uproar. Ethan arrived for his therapy session only to find his cushion gone. Without it, he couldn't sit in his wheelchair for more than an hour without risking pain and injury. His mother, Lisa, was livid, her voice shaking as she demanded answers from the staff. "How does something this important just disappear?" she cried. The staff scrambled, checking inventory logs and security footage, but the cushion was nowhere to be found. Whispers spread among the nurses, and Clara, still fuming, stepped forward with her photo. "I saw who took it," she said quietly, handing over her evidence. The room fell silent. The hunt for Karen was on. Here's where things take a twist. Enter Jake, a hospital volunteer and part-time mechanic who'd overheard the commotion. Jake wasn't on the staff roster, but he had a knack for fixing things: wheelchairs, spirits, and sometimes justice. He recognized Karen's name from a local community board where she'd been notorious for complaining about everything from noisy kids at the park to slow baristas. Jake had a hunch. He'd seen Karen's SUV parked at a nearby coffee shop that morning, the same one she frequented to berate staff over minor orders. On a whim, he drove by, and there it was, the white SUV with the stolen cushion peeking out of the open trunk, now being used as a makeshift booster seat for Karen's designer purse. Jake didn't confront her directly. He knew Karen's type: loud, defensive, and quick to twist the narrative. Instead, he called Clara and tipped off the hospital's security team. By noon, they had a plan. They tracked Karen to the coffee shop, where she was in the middle of a tirade about a lukewarm latte. The security team, led by Officer Ramirez, a no-nonsense woman with a knack for cutting through excuses, approached her calmly. "Ma'am, we need to talk about the item in your trunk," Ramirez said, her tone firm but neutral. Karen's face flushed red, her eyes darting. "What? That old thing? I found it. It was just lying there." The confrontation was electric. Karen's voice rose, drawing a crowd of curious onlookers. She doubled down, claiming she'd saved the cushion from being wasted in the lot. Ramirez wasn't buying it. She pulled up the security footage on her tablet, showing Karen's deliberate theft in grainy but undeniable detail. The crowd murmured, and Karen's bravado began to crack. Then came the knockout blow. Lisa, Ethan's mother, arrived at the scene. She'd been called by Clara and had brought Ethan along in his wheelchair. The boy, pale but composed, looked straight at Karen. "That cushion is mine," he said softly. "I can't do my therapy without it. Why would you take it?" The air seemed to freeze. Karen stammered, her excuses crumbling under the weight of Ethan's quiet words. The crowd's murmurs turned to gasps and glares. Karen, the woman who thrived on control and complaints, was cornered. She tried to pivot, claiming she didn't know it was medical equipment, but the handwritten label on the cushion, clearly marked with Ethan's name and the hospital's logo, betrayed her. Officer Ramirez stepped closer. You'll be returning that cushion now, and we'll be discussing charges for theft and endangerment. Karen's face drained of color. She fumbled to open her trunk, hands shaking as the crowd watched her every move. The fallout was swift and merciless. Karen's theft wasn't just a hospital matter, no, it was the talk of the town. Someone in the coffee shop crowd had recorded the confrontation, and the video spread like wildfire on social media. Posts on X called her out, with hashtags like Karen Gets Caught and Justice for Ethan trending locally. Karen's reputation, already shaky from her endless complaints, was in tatters. She tried to post a half-hearted apology online, claiming she misunderstood the situation, but the comments tore her apart. "You saw the label," one user wrote. "You just didn't care." Another posted a photo of Ethan smiling in therapy with his cushion back, captioned, "This is who you hurt, Karen." For Ethan, the resolution was bittersweet. With his cushion returned, he could resume his therapy, but the incident left a mark. He told Clara he didn't want Karen to go to jail just to understand the harm she'd caused. Lisa, however, wasn't so forgiving. She filed a formal complaint ensuring Karen faced community service and a fine. The hospital, shaken by the breach, tightened its security protocols, and Clara was commended for her quick thinking. Jake, the unsung hero, quietly returned to his volunteer work, but not before Ethan's family gifted him a heartfelt thank you note and a coffee shop gift card, ironic, given where Karen's downfall unfolded. In the end, Karen's entitlement cost her more than she could have imagined. She'd walked into that parking lot thinking she could take what she wanted, oblivious to the ripple effect. But the truth caught up, as it always does. Ethan's resilience, Clara's vigilance, and a community's outrage turned her selfish act into a lesson she'd never forget. The story doesn't end with Karen's humiliation. Thus, it ends with a spark of hope. Ethan, back in therapy, pushed forward, his spirit unbroken. Clara and Jake, strangers before this, became friends, bonded by their stand for what's right. What do you think? Where's the line between ignorance and entitlement? Was Karen's punishment fair, or should she have faced more? Share your thoughts, because stories like this remind us actions have consequences, and sometimes the truth hits harder than any fine.